Hey folks, Troy Perry from Better Days Farm in Burton, Texas. Hey, we purchased this land about 3 years ago and had a water well dug and did a couple of water tests and found out that our water has quite a few high levels of scale-causing minerals. And so looked for a couple of options, read some literature and those kinds of things with descalers, electronic descalers, filters and stuff like that. Ended up deciding to go with the Yarna electronic water descaler. And so I want to do a real quick video, just an installation video, show you how it looks going in. Looks like it's going to be pretty simple. So let's get to it. Okay, so here's the Yarna product, the shipping box that it came in. Really impressed with the quality of the shipping products. This is a really heavy-duty box. Definitely was not going to get damaged in the shipping process. Inside the box, obviously, you have your main control unit, the plug and the adapter there for the power, and then you have two of the impulse bands, which are going to be wrapped around the pipes, and then some zip ties to secure it, to secure the impulse bands to the pipes. So the instructions, which I've already read through pretty well, say that you need to have at least 10 inches of exposed pipe. I've got about 13 inches of exposed pipe here, and then I went ahead and exposed the 90 degree here and got another 3 or 4 inches over here. I want to get as much as I can, so I've decided to install this at the water well. The directions say that it's best to put it towards either as close to the water meter as you can or the entrance point into the main water of the residence. Since we have so much scale building minerals and stuff in the water here, and we're going to be using this water to irrigate some of our plants and vegetables and fruit trees and those kinds of things, I just wanted to make sure that we descaled the entire system, not just what was going to the houses or the barns or those kinds of things. And so I elected to put it here at the water well. It says you can put it on up to 2-inch pipe. I've got 1 1/4 pipe here, so even with the 90 here, we should be fine with the with the pipe size diameter. And so it says you need to have at least 10 inches of exposed pipe. Also says it comes with 52 inches of cord here on the impulse bands, but it says you need to wrap at least 35 inches of it. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out 35 inches and just place a mark on it, make sure I get enough of it wrapped around there, so that whenever I start, I know that I've at least covered the minimum requirements. All right, so I have my pieces marked off, 35 inches. Just again, make sure that I'm getting plenty of widening around there. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I just like to know. So it comes, the Yarna comes with some mounting hardware. So if you had some drywall anchors, if you were going to mount it and have to put it on drywall, comes with some double-sided tape. Since I'm kind of putting this in here and I'm not 100% sure if this is where it's going to stay, and this is actually a temporary shelter that's put around the well house, so we're going to actually build a bigger kind of a barn around it a little later, so it'll probably move at some point anyway. So I'm just going to fix it to this little T-post temporarily. So this is the main unit. It's aluminum, pretty heavy, definitely well made, and so it actually has these little ribs on it, which are going to make it really convenient to get the zip tie around it and hold it in place. So I'm just going to put it over there, zip tie it in place. So in looking at it, I kind of see now that I don't really need to go around the corner here. I think I'm going to have enough room just in this 10-inch space, so I've kind of decided I'm just going to go ahead and start from here. I think it says that you need to have at least a 1/2-inch space between the two different windings. And so I've just decided that I'm going to kind of do it that way. Alright, so the impulse bands have just a standard USB type connection. So just like you would with any of your devices, you can really only plug in one way. And then I think I'm going to start wrapping this one from underneath here. This doesn't, some of the other kind of magnetic type descalers tended to talk about having to wrap one direction or the other. It doesn't specifically say that you need to wrap any particular direction in the Yarna. I'm going to do it in opposite directions just for the fun of it, but it's really not, doesn't seem like it's going to be necessary to do that because it doesn't say specifically to wrap the impulse bands in opposite directions. So it says you don't want them touching. So I am trying to, I'll move this over a little bit just to make sure my angle of the infeed is. So I am leaving about 1/8 of an inch or so between each wrap so that they don't touch. But it just says you do want them close together. So I'm not spreading them out too far, just making sure I've got some space in between them there. All right, that's that one. And they give you some zip ties here to secure it with. Okay, so again, I can kind of just space those out where they don't touch each other. All right, and then the second band I'm going to do from under bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. Plug it in. And I'm going to start from the top here, just so that we have the opposite wrapping. Again, it doesn't necessarily say that you have to have the opposite wrapping, but I figured it can't hurt to do it that way either. All right. Yeah. All right, and again, just kind of making sure there's a little space between each one of the wraps there. They all look good. Comes with 2 of those bands, so if you wanted to put it on the front side so that you kind of hold that in place as well, you can do that. Kind of make sure that doesn't cross over there. And here it'll at least help me make sure that there's that 1/2 inch gap that it mentions, so I can kind of pull it over, make sure that that impulse band is far enough away from the first one, and it's at least 1 inch, so should be good there. Okay, all tightened down. Cut some of these, be careful not to cut the impulse bands. Cut those off. And then the moment of truth. I'll tidy up all my wires here in just a few minutes. I've got a little extension again. I've got some temporary power ran out here, so all right. Now I don't know if you can see here, but the blue, there's a little Y on the top of the USB connection, and so it lit up, telling me that it is up and running. And so that's the installation. Pretty simple. Even with doing the video, it took me, you know, like 10 minutes at the most. So we'll see. I'll do a video maybe in 4 to 6 months. Let it run for a while and see how it does. So we do have a travel trailer that we are staying in whenever we're out here at the farm. And so I have had to change, just in the year or so that we've had it out here, I've had to change several of the fixtures because of the scale buildup. So this will be a good test over the next 4 to 6 months, just of how it's working. So I'll come back and do a video on that. Thanks.